We're back. We are finally back in your eyes and ears. The Bentley Show has returned. I was out of town the last couple of weeks, had some family stuff. So we are back. We're better than ever. We're back on the grind Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just like we never left. Just had to take a quick little pause there. And now we're back. Ain't nothing changed but the date. Ain't nothing changed but the date. I am, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. This is the Bentley Show. We have quite a bit to talk about because it's been, 2 weeks since we've last spoke? We have quite a bit to talk about. The Tigers are 9 games into their season. We are 2 weeks in. We have Akil Baddoo, obviously. We're going to talk some Matt Boyd, some Miguel Cabrera, Wilson Ramos, the young pitching core, and then take a quick little peek at this upcoming series that's going to start tonight, if you're listening on Monday, which I hope you are. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series against AJ Hinch's former team actually has me super nervous. So which is not a thing I felt watching the Tigers in probably 5 years. So that we'll touch on that a little bit. The Pistons, we have some Blake Griffin drama to talk about. I have not been on since he's really gone off and started dunking and stuff for the Nets. So I'm going to give my 2 cents on that situation. Then we're going to talk about all the rookies individually, Killian, Stu, Bay, talk about Wayne Ellington and the trade deadline. Cause last time we spoke, I think was right before the trade deadline. And I will get into Wayne. Then some Corey Joseph stuff and some Sekou stuff because he's slowly becoming more and more the topic of conversation, especially since Killian's return. The Red Wings trade deadline. Again, if you're listening on Monday, then you are quite literally listening on trade deadline day. The trade deadline's at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. So depending on when you're listening, there you go. If you're listening after, then it's already after the fact on Wednesday. If there's any trades that happen from when I'm recording currently, which is Monday morning till 3 p.m. on Monday, we'll just cover those in Wednesday's show. No big deal. We're going to all trade stuff for the Wings. As always, go listen to Locked On Red Wings. I'm a co-host over there. If you want more in-depth, full, every day a week breakdowns on it. And then the Lions. We have a lot more trades from around the league have been made since we last spoke, and that is going to directly affect the draft. So we have a lot to talk about there. What are we going to do at 7? We've been asking this question pretty much since the inception of this show. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And then if we don't go quarterback, who do we go? Just a lot to talk about in general. This is going to be a jam-packed show. Jam-packed. I am your host, Scott Bentley. This is the Bentley Show. Oh, I'm so happy to be back. I am so thrilled to be back in your eyes and ears. If you're listening on YouTube, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm just happy to be here. Just happy to be here. Okay, let's get right into it though. The Detroit baseball Tigers are 9 games into their season. And it's gone. How do I word it? I don't know if I have a 1-word adjective to describe what I feel about the Detroit baseball Tigers up to this point. Look, it's gone about as expected, I guess. I mean, look, so we're currently 3-6. This team is still bad. This team is still bad, man. Even when we won our opening series, people were like, oh my gosh, this team looks so much better. It's like, dude, we are 3 games into a 162. I hate to be the person to kill optimism. Truly. Some people don't believe me when I say that because I'm too pessimistic or whatever. But after 5 straight years of 98 plus losses, I'm not sure how you're not. Personally, I mean, maybe that's just Maybe that's just how I look at the game. I don't know, but I don't. It's really something to behold. It really is something to behold. Um, so the offense is still the offense, especially in this Cleveland series that just ended. It was pretty much irrelevant. It was completely silent. And that's going to be like, look, man, people, oh my gosh, like we have AJ Hinch, and that's awesome. I'm so happy. You know what I mean? Like I voiced my opinion of that. I think it's an amazing hire. We went out and made the like Robbie Grossman. I love the Robbie Grossman signing. I absolutely love it. The Renato Nunez, sure, he's up now. We'll get into that a little later. Wilson Ramos, like Nomar Mazara, like we made these like Band-Aid signings. Look, man, again, I don't want to be the person to kill optimism because I hate being that, but this is a team who yesterday, Nico Goodrum was our 3-hole hitter. Let that sink in. Turn the knob, open the door, let that porcelain sink in. Nico Goodrum was our 3-hitter yesterday. Our 3-4-5, our 2-3-4 was Willie Castro, Nico Goodrum, Renato Nunez. Willie Castro had like a 450 BABIP last year. He currently has a 500 OPS. Nico Goodrum currently has a 590 OPS. And Renato Nunez, that was literally his first major league game of the year. He was in Toledo before yesterday. Our cleanup hitter was in Toledo 24 hours before. Like this team is still so far away from being even remotely competitive, bro. So far away. Let's get into some individual performances though. Kind of break it down a little more in depth. Akil Baddoo, incredible, absolutely incredible story, incredible moment, incredible everything. I don't know how you can be. You can't be mad. You can't be mad, right? I mean, like this is a Rule 5 pick that is taken over baseball, right? Like he has quite literally just taken over baseball. He is on the official MLB Twitter accounts. He's all over the place. It's awesome. It's awesome. And look, I said this in one of my post game videos a couple of days ago. This is something he will live in Tigers lore forever. For real. This week, even if he is never relevant at the major league level again from here on out, literally, this week no one will ever be able to take that away from him, and no one will ever be able to take that away from the fan base. It's just fun, man. It's just fun. Whether it lasts or not, who cares? Who cares? Just enjoy it. It's just fun, man. We haven't gotten much enjoyment out of the last 5 years of this team. We finally have something cool happen. Just enjoy it, man. It's awesome. Obviously, the home run in his first pitch he saw, then the grand slam, then the walk-off, then throwing a guy out from left field. I mean, the dude is is all over the MLB. And that's the cool, like, it's literally like Chris Shelton in 06 in April, right? Like, we still talk about that to this day. We still talk about, oh my gosh, Chris Shelton got off to that hot start. Chris Shelton's a nobody. Chris Shelton was out of baseball in a year after that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like that. And I'm not saying Akil Baddoo's a nobody. He's 22 and has a way higher ceiling than Chris Shelton could ever have even dreamed of having, especially at the time of his national spotlight. But it's just like, it doesn't matter what he does after this. For him, like for the sake of this moment, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he looks like the rest of his career, and it's pretty much irrelevant, to be honest with you. It's just an awesome moment. It's super cool. And it has made, anytime he's in the lineup, it's more enjoyable. Whether he actually does something with it or not, he's gone 0 for the last 2 days. Doesn't even matter. It's more enjoyable when he's in the lineup. The game's literally more fun to watch when he's playing, because you're like, oh my gosh, is he gonna like freak out and do anything else? You know what I mean? It's just cool. Moving on to Matthew Boyd. I've really liked what I've seen out of Boyd so far this year. Liked it a lot. Not saying that he is going to be some what am I trying to say? I'm not saying he's going to be some bona fide ace, or that he is a bona fide ace, or anything of the sort that involves him being an ace, because that's just not true. But it is really nice to see him. Both of his starts this series looks really good, and that's just obviously nice. The hope, I think, he's got a year left of ARB. So I would imagine the hope is, if he's good enough, you actually trade him this time instead of 2019 when we just didn't for no reason. I would imagine that would be the strategy, right? If it's not, then you got to extend him. I don't know, man. I just don't want to make the same mistake twice. We didn't move him in 19, and it's inexcusable, and we absolutely should have. Being that he's on his last year of ARB and we have all these kids coming, I think the value play is probably moving him. He's a great guy. I wish him nothing but the best, but just for the outlook of this team, I'm not really sure why you hold on to him. But he's looked great, and that's awesome. That benefits everyone, whether we move him or not. Obviously, it's very beneficial that he does well. His pitch mix has been phenomenal. He has the fastball, changeup, slider, and then every once in a blue moon he randomly throws a curveball, which is still confusing to me, but whatever. It's not a common enough pitch for me to be like, oh my gosh, throw it or don't. Like, he throws it, once an outing, but that's weird. The slider's been great. It's been great since his whole career. The fastball is not going to blow you away, but if it's located well and the changeup is on point, he looks good, man. And the pitch mix, he's throwing the changeup a lot more. He's throwing the slider at a solid rate, being that it's his best pitch. It fascinates me that when he only throws the the slider and the fastball, he struggles. His outings tend to be not good. Especially was the case last year. And then when he mixes in the changeup, he looks damn good. But somehow he keeps forgetting that, or the staff kept forgetting that, or something last year at least. This series looked really good 2 games in, though. I'm super excited, and obviously that's very, like I said, that's very, very, I can't speak today, very beneficial for everybody involved. So that's obviously awesome. Miguel Cabrera back on the IL. What are you going to do, man? The one thing I have a problem with is people saying like, oh my gosh, like, this is a problem. He's not worth the money. He's ridiculous. Bro, why is the injury when you bring that up? Like, the logic does not compute to me. No kidding. He hasn't been worth the 30 mil a year in 3 years, 4 years. Obviously, him getting hurt, like, you really think 2021 healthy Miguel Cabrera would have made this team competitive? No. Miguel Cabrera could be healthy as hell. He could play all 162 this year. It's not changing the fact that this team's losing 95 to 105 games. I just don't understand why when he gets hurt, people are like, oh, he hasn't been worth it. Bro, if he was healthy, he's not worth it, right? And worth it is also, that's also just ridiculous. Like, that's just how baseball contracts work. You pay someone for what they give you currently, you eat it and take it on the chin at the end of the deal. Every big deal ever has been that. And this deal is obviously no different. He's the best hitter. I don't care how you could be 100 years old. He's the best hitter in your lifetime to wear a Tigers uniform, I should say. He's the best Tigers hitter in your lifetime, no matter how old you are. Could have been alive in the 20s. I don't care. He's the best Tigers hitter in your lifetime. He's done tenfold more than enough. And I just don't understand the frustration when this team sucks. I don't get it. Why are you mad? This team is horrible. Like, when he's healthy, if he's healthy all year, it's not changing the fact that this team blows. He could even be prime Miguel Cabrera right now. He could be 2012-13 Miguel Cabrera. And guess what? We'd still be terrible. Because that's how it works. You could literally drop two-time MVP 2013 Miguel Cabrera into the 3-hole of this lineup, and this team would still be absolutely terrible. So I don't understand what people's frustration is from, where it lies. It does not matter. Nothing he can do could change the fact that this team's terrible. The injury doesn't matter to the team's outlook. I've rambled on for this long enough. I don't understand why people are mad about this currently. In 2016 or 17, sure, I guess, maybe. But like, at this point, get over yourself, man. Take a deep breath, go take a walk or something. It's really not that deep. Okay. With Miguel Cabrera's injury, Julio Teheran moves to the 60-day IL, which is, I mean, that sucks. It's a guy that we signed to a 1-year deal, try to get a bounce back from last year. It obviously sucks for him. It sucks for us because we might have been able to flip him at the deadline. And now he's not going to be back to like mid-June. So it's going to be a lot less. It's going to be a lot more difficult to move him at the deadline. Regardless, I would imagine Turnbull is going to come back relatively soon and take his spot, but there's also a chance, I guess, that Michael Fulmer just hops back into the rotation. I'd obviously, for those who know me, much prefer Spencer Turnbull than Michael Fulmer, but Michael Fulmer has looked pretty good out of the bullpen. So that'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. Like I said earlier, Renato Nunez gets the call up due to Miguel Cabrera getting hurt. Sure. I was kind of confused he didn't make the team out of camp, especially losing the job to Harold Castro, who I think is just terrible. But he's up now. He's going to hit in the middle of the lineup. Went 0 for his first day. Hopefully we can see something out of him. And again, we're just taking a lot of flyers on guys, and he's no different. So hopefully we can see something out of him. Wilson Ramos has been a big topic of conversation because I have voiced my displeasure with the signing from the second we made it. He's had a really hot start at the plate. He has 4 home runs in 9 games. I don't care. I don't care. He is quite literally one of the worst defensive catchers in the league. And we've had horrible catching the last 5 years, and he's one of the worst defensive catchers we've had in the last 5 years. And I would argue that we've had the worst catching situation in baseball the last 5. So take with that what you will. Here's my thing. He can hit super well, and he can justify their logic, the front office's logic, and I can still not be happy about it. Not that I'm like stuck in my ways and like, oh my gosh, like I doesn't he could OPS 2,000, I wouldn't care. Not the point. They signed him with the belief that, oh, he's not going to be a great defender. He'll make up with it with the bat. We need a bat. Our offense has been irrelevant the last 4 games. And yes, not only, but 2 of the only runs we have scored have been Wilson Ramos solo homers. But this is my point exactly. Even with those solo homers, we lost one of the games by like 10. It ended up being like 6, I guess, 6 or 7. And we lost the other game by 3. His offense does not matter. It really doesn't. I'm sorry. It is irrelevant to me. You should have gotten a defensive catcher. You have 3 of the top pitching prospects in baseball. You have 2 relatively young guys trying to raise their value in Turnbull and Boyd. It makes absolutely no sense to go offense over defense at the catching position. If you thought you were one bat away from having an insane offense, you might be able to convince me. You're not. You're not even close. You're not even relatively close to that. No matter how well he hits, and I hope he hits well. I want this team to do good, contrary to popular belief. I love this team. But no matter how well he hits, he could literally have a 1,200 OPS at the end of the year, which, by the way, he won't. But he literally could. And I will not care because this team will still lose 95 plus games, even with him being the best hitter in baseball. And his defense will still be an absolute crime against humanity. It doesn't make sense. It has never made sense. It never will make sense. So the front office can justify their own signing if he hits well and say, hey, that's the trade-off we made. And that's fine. But for me personally, I don't care. It will never make sense. It never has made sense. Let's move on. I'm done talking about Wilson Ramos. Last 2, Skubal and Mize. Skubal, his last start against Cleveland was horrifying. The spin rate is down significantly and the velocity is down significantly on the fastball. And he got absolutely obliterated. That might have been the worst start of his career. He looked horrid. Again, not only I just don't get how this happens. I don't get it. Hopefully, it's one of 2 things. Either it's by design and Feathers just trying stuff out with him. Just don't be hurt. Just don't be hurt. Or, I don't know. He just had a rough day. I don't know. I don't know. But it's horrifying. It's scary. His velocity was down so much, and his spin rate was down so much. I don't know, man. I think Skubal has the highest floor of any of the big 3, but I mean that's scary. And like, look, I've been preaching patience and like, oh my gosh, we're 8, 9 starts into these dudes' careers. Let's not, after one bad start, be like, oh my gosh, you're relegated to you're going to be a career bullpen arm. Like, I'm trying to stop that. But at the same time, that is alarming. Like, it'd be one thing if the velocity and all that was still there and he just had a bad start. That was rough. That was rough. That was rough. Okay, last thing. I'm way over time here on the Tigers. Last thing is that the Tigers are about to head into a series against the Houston Astros. I'm pretty nervous, to be honest with you. And I haven't been nervous for a Tigers game like this in a while. I mean, for real, like, I don't know. I only get nervous when it's like, oh my, I have like some expectation of winning, or like, oh, like we really should win today. I really want to win today. Something along those lines. That, and I haven't really expected to win much in the last 5 years. So like, I haven't really been nervous in a Tiger game. I think the last time I was nervous was the JV pitched the day before the trade deadline in 2017. And I really wanted him to do well so that his last start as a Tiger could be well, but then we didn't even trade him on the deadline. We traded him a month later. Then before that, it was probably the second to last game of 2016 when we were a game out of the postseason and facing the Braves, who at the time were one of the worst teams in baseball. And all we had to do was win game 162 and 163, or game 161 and 162 against a horrible Braves team. And we would have gotten the wild card, and we lost. I think like those are literally the last two I can think of, man. Yeah, it's been a minute, but regardless, regardless, I'm very nervous about tonight. This series, to be honest. Hinch has come out and said he hasn't really left that place mentally. I really want him to win. I really want him to win, man. I want to win this series more than I've wanted to win any series in a very, very long time. And it's not even like an anti-Astros thing. It's not like, oh my gosh, they cheated, I hate them thing. It's just I just want him at the end of the series to be like I'm better off here. You know what I mean? Which is like impossible because the Astros were a juggernaut and still have really good players, and we're on pace to lose 100. But like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I don't know. But like, that's just what I want. I just want that so bad. I just want us to win and him to look back at the series and be like, I made the right decision, or I guess it really wasn't his call, but like, you know what I mean? Like, everything happened for a reason. I'm glad I ended up here. I'm happier here. I don't know. Maybe my brain's just weird. Okay. That will do it for the Detroit baseball Tigers. Heading into the Detroit basketball Pistons. The Blake Griffin thing. Look, man, I don't care. I really don't care. I think it's pretty ridiculous, honestly, that people do care, if we're going to be completely honest. And like, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's harsh, but like, I don't care. I really don't care, man. Sorry, don't care. Like, he dunked in his first game back there, right? And everybody's like, oh my gosh, he never dunked here, huh? Like, what a dick. That he plays completely different style of basketball in Brooklyn than he did here. He is now, when he was literally the point guard here. He was a point forward. The offense ran through him. He was setting up at the top of the key and facilitating the offense. If you were to rank everybody on the Brooklyn Nets, that would be the primary ball handler on a play, he'd be like 7th. That might be a slight exaggeration. But not exaggerate. He'd be like 5. No, I mean, he might not, like, he might be like 6 or 7. Somewhere between the 5 to 7 range. He can now cut to the hoop. He can do off-ball stuff. He can just chill at the three-point line and wait for the ball to end up in his lap. He plays such a significantly different style. No shit. He can cut to the rim and dunk now. I just don't care. I for real don't care. The only thing that's bothered me about the Blake Griffin thing since he has left, the only thing, quite literally, was the return back. That was ugly. But that even being said, that's how he plays basketball. When he did that, when he was in a Pistons jersey, we loved it. We were like, oh yeah, he's flopping, he's getting in their head, he's pissing people off, like he's laughing at people. He literally laughed at a dude, right? Like, it's just, I don't get it. I don't understand why people are so mad. I genuinely, like, I get it. He dunked. He didn't dunk here. But it's not like he's putting up all-star numbers. It's not like he's out there averaging 25, 30 a game. He's getting like rotation player minutes and is like doing fine with them. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't really care, to be honest with you. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that upsets people and I'm supposed to have this like grudge against him. I don't get it, man. I really don't care. I'm glad he's off the team now, and I'm glad we worked out the buyout. And I'm glad we have some money to do something. I think it's more beneficial for us that he's not here anymore. I am so thankful for what he gave us a couple of years ago with the run to the 8 seed. I love him to death. And I'm not even like a Blake like homer. I'm not even like, oh, I will defend him at all costs. I don't know. I just genuinely do not care. So take that as you will, I guess. Trade deadline has come and gone. I don't understand why Wayne Ellington was on this team. I don't understand why he put on a Pistons uniform after the trade deadline. Maybe people are like, oh, he's not even worth a second. We'll just wait till they buy him out. I don't know. That seems ridiculous to me. And even if you get like a bag of potato chips and a slice of pepperoni pizza, it's like, okay, well, there's literally no reason for him to be on this team. So like, why is he still on this team? You know what I mean? I don't know. That again, maybe no, that one I'm pretty hard on. Why is he on this team? Ridiculous to me. I don't understand it. I think it's stupid. Like I said, even if you get a 20, 30 second round pick, you're just going to buy him out eventually anyway, or he's just going to get useless minutes on this team anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think it's stupid. There. I think it's dumb. Okay, let's talk about the actual Pistons that matter now that we've talked about Pistons that don't matter and former Pistons. The rookies. First off, Killian Hayes haters are absolutely fuming. They are absolutely fuming because people gave up on him 7 games into his NBA career. Like, for real. Like, that actually happened. Do we forget that? That was an actual thing that happened. People literally looked at Killian Hayes 7 games into his career and were like, nah, he's garbage. What a bust. 7 games in. He is 19. He looked phenomenal his first game back. Phenomenal. So, I'm super happy about that. He's a facilitator, man. He's an elite facilitator. Everybody on that team talks about it all the time. Stu talks about it, already has. And a good transition, Killian Hayes, since he's come back, man, like Seku's looked pretty good. And here's the thing. Obviously there's a huge debate around Sekou organizationally and just throughout the fan base. Look, man, I still believe in him. I still think he can be a really good player in this league. He is just super raw, still just super, super raw, but he's still super, super young. The thing is, and this was, I had a conversation with my buddy of mine, John Dolan. Shout out John Dolan, man. Back Judge podcast. And he pointed out to me, like, and I really hadn't thought of it from this avenue, from this like mindset. He was drafted by the previous regime. You know, that's a big factor, man. Like if Weaver doesn't believe in him, that's not his pick. That wasn't his pick. You know, that's a Stefanski pick. And you can believe in the pick. You can be like me and believe in Sekou. At the end of the day, if Weaver's looking around and wants the whole team to be his whole new team, you know what I mean? It's not completely out of the question that he gets flipped. Now, that being said, I'm not really sure anybody around the league is looking at him and what he's done, the like 3 minutes a game he's been getting this year, outside of the last couple of games, I guess. And been like, oh man, like I really want to get rid of like first round picks and stuff for him. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's probably more valuable to the team currently to just hold on to him. I don't really see a point in not. That being said, it's I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting thing to look out for, because he is one of the only people at this point that's not a Weaver guy. I mean, he's the longest tenured player on the team, and he's like 20. That's absurd. You know what I mean? He's completely gutted everything else. So definitely will be something to keep an eye out for this offseason. I hope they just give him minutes for the rest of the season. And like I said, since Killian's come back, he's actually looked pretty darn good. So that's kind of exciting. Everybody else, man, Isaiah Stewart, my hubby, incredible. He's really, I mean, at this point, he's turning into a walking double-double. And like, I think the Julia Okafor we won't have to worry about after this year. The question then becomes, can you move Plumlee? Can you move him this offseason? He's only, again, like, he's not, his AAV isn't that much. People are like, oh my gosh, we way overpaid for him. His salary per year is really not anything. That's like nothing. I don't know. People are just weird. So I don't think it's completely out of the question that we can move him. And even if we can't, he is not getting paid enough where you should be like, oh my gosh, he has to be the starter. You know what I mean? I don't think it's not like we got a max contract guy where it's like, okay, well, he has to start no matter what. I don't really think that's the case. So I think you either trade him, or next year, it won't happen this year, but next year, maybe you just let Stewart loose, man. Just let him play a ton. I don't know. Regardless, super, super exciting to watch. One of my favorite Pistons in a long while. He's awesome. Sadiq Bey. Unreal, man. He has now the most 3-pointers by a Pistons rookie in the history of the franchise. And he has had the third most 3-pointers made through a player's first 50 games in NBA history. Luka is first with 120. Donovan Mitchell is second with 115. Saddiq Bey and Damian Lillard tied for third at 113. This guy is literally becoming the steal of the draft. I mean, this is a home run pick. A home run pick. I mean, I've been preaching the gospel of him for a while. I think he has the highest floor of man, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think he has one of the highest floors of any rookie in the NBA. Like what he does as a start, what his ceiling is, it will be debated, right? And we'll see what comes with that with time. There is no way he's any worse than like an 18-minute a night, like seventh man in the rotation. Like that's worst case. He's going to be in the NBA for 10 to 15 years, barring injury, right? Just such a high floor. And that's awesome because I think Killian has kind of a low floor, but also a super, super high ceiling. So it's nice to have that mix of like, hey, if nobody else got you, Saddiq Bey got you, you know? Okay. I think that's going to do it for the Stones. Corey Joseph is the only other thing I kind of wanted to touch on. He's 29. He's playing probably the best ball of his career through 10, 12 games with the Stones. I mean, that's dope. Sure. But he's damn near 30 years old. I still don't think he's part of the long-term plan. He's getting paid, I think, $12.5 million next year. Maybe he's someone we flip at the deadline next season. I don't think you're going to be able to move him in the offseason for a full $12.5 million. 1 year left for a guy that is going to come off your bench and not even score 10 a game. So I don't know. I think it might be something we, halfway through the season with half of that gone, half a year of them, maybe even retain some of the salary. I don't know. He might be a buyout candidate even. I don't know. I don't think he's a long-term plan, but he's been playing some good hoop lately. So whatever. Okay. The Red Wings. Again, as always, go listen to Locked On Red Wings. If you don't already, I'm a co-host over there. Awesome group of guys. We have fun, and it is 5 days a week solely about the Red Wings. So you can not get any of these other teams, way more in-depth breakdowns over there because it is solely a Red Wings podcast. So Locked On Red Wings, I'm a co-host there. Go check it out. The thing with the Wings, it's obviously the trade deadline. The games just come and go at this point. They are rough. This team is still very far from being competitive, and we don't even really have like too many fun people, like young kids up. So like it makes it even that much more like, oh my gosh. That being said, trade deadline. It's exciting for teams like this, exciting for teams that have some pieces to sell. And we do have some pieces to sell. Sadly, Bobby Ryan, I think, was probably our biggest trade piece, or maybe not biggest as far as best, but biggest in the sense of like, hey man, this guy's definitely getting traded. Like highest odds of getting moved. Bobby Ryan was probably at the very top of that list, I would imagine. So kind of disappointing that he got hurt and is out for the year. We can't trade him now. That sucks. Obviously he's had a roller coaster of a career, so I'm hoping nothing but the best for him. From a Wings perspective, it kind of sucks. So the other people to look out for, Bernier's obviously one, but the goalie market is shrinking. Teams that need goalies are making trades for goalies that aren't Jonathan Bernier. So that's kind of concerning. But still someone to keep an eye on. There's really no point in us holding on to him. I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense to move him. So we'll see. That's one here in the next few hours for me to keep an eye on. Luke Glendening, the probably the biggest now that Bobby Ryan's down. I mean, even when Bobby Ryan was healthy, he might be the best player that we have to offer to people. Just best face-off percentage in the entire NHL. I think you can probably get a decent return for that, man. You know what I mean? Again, he's another one. I don't understand the purpose of holding on to him. It's an expiring deal. You have plenty of cap. You can even eat the salary. You can do that with any of these guys. You have so much salary cap space. You could literally trade Mark Stahl and eat 100% of the salary. Like, and that's, I would love for that to happen, but I don't think, we'll get into it in a sec, but I don't think there's really a market for defensemen this year. So that's kind of, I don't want this whole team to be full of Wayne Ellingtons. I don't want to look back at 3:30 today and go, what the hell? Why on earth did we just not move anyone? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know, man. Trade people. Trade people. Please trade people. Please trade people. So that's someone to keep an eye on. Those two guys, Glendening and Bernier, definitely people to keep eyes on. The two moves we have made so far. Merrill, we got rid of Merrill for a 5th, and I think that's just if you look at the other trades around the league, defensemen are not going for much. I don't think there's a market for defensemen this year, and the market's kind of been set, and it's not great. So that, as kind of like as that trade was, sure, man. Sure. Again, I sound like a broken record. I've been saying this on Locked On Red Wings all the time too. There is no point to keep so many of these people on this team. Anybody with an expiring deal, there's no point. If there's not a long-term plan for you, if you're on an expiring deal and not coming back, why on earth are the fighting for last place Red Wings holding on to you? Just move people, bro. Just move people. And I'll be the first to come on here and say, like, hey, that means I don't get the right to be mad at like a crappy return. Sure. I trust Yzerman enough to believe that he is working phones and will get the best deal available. I don't know. I just don't understand the point of holding on to some of these guys. Namath was the other one that got moved. That was actually a pretty solid return. 4th rounder, dub, solid, love it. And then the only other move we made was we get rid of literally nothing for a 4th round pick. So that's cool. We'll take it. 3-team deal where we get rid of literally no one and get a 4th rounder. So awesome. Super awesome. So that's the Wings trade deadline. Like I said, couple hours left for me. We'll cover the deals that aren't done yet when I'm recording this on Wednesday. We'll take a look back at the entire trade deadline from around the league and stuff. So that'll be a fun one. But yeah, just a super interesting, I guess I'd say, deadline for the Red Wings. The only other thing I wanted to bring up, Foligno getting the call up. Awesome. Like I said, one of the things about this team, it's one thing to be bad. It's another thing to be bad and no one on the team be part of the long-term plans. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot more enjoyable to be bad when you have like prospects that actually have futures on this team playing and not just a bunch of, like I said at the trade deadline part, a bunch of expiring 1-year people that aren't part of the future. I would much rather lose and have a bunch of prospects lose. So from an entertainment standpoint, I'm not saying we should just call up everybody, but I understand how development works. But so it's cool. Foligno's cool. Ben talked about on Wings Twitter for a while now. It's super cool that we're going to get to see him up in the show. That's awesome. So I think that's it for the Wings, man. As always, go listen to Locked On Red Wings. Locked On Red Wings. Locked On Red Wings. Okay, the last team in this beautiful city, the Detroit Football Lions. Absolute pandemonium since the last time we've spoke. Not even really with the Lions. The Lions honestly have really done nothing since the last time we've talked, except post videos of Dan Campbell like hyping up people. So, okay. Let's start with trades made that are going to directly affect us. Okay. For starters, the 49ers now have the third pick. Okay. 49ers, third pick, absolute insanity. So you're thinking that they probably trade up if they're taking a quarterback, but they've also told Jimmy G that he's their quarterback this year. You could take Fields. You could take Fields and sit him, right? I don't know. Kind of interesting. You could take Lance. There's some things. There's some things you could do there. Then we get to the Jets and Panthers make a deal. Sam Darnold goes to the Carolina Panthers. I am somewhat of a Darnold believer. He's still one of the youngest quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think nobody is going to succeed when you put them in the Jets offense with literally no one. They have no receivers, no running backs, no anything. That offense is literal garbage. And you're putting him up there. You have that talent around him and Adam Gase as his head coach. Sorry if I don't take him struggling as an attack against him, given that situation. I don't at all, to be honest with you. So I'm pumped for Darnold, and I'm kind of pumped for the Panthers. I think that this could actually turn out to work maybe for Carolina. But like, what do we do? Right? Like now what? So I mean, there was a legitimate chance before. There was rumors about Mac going to Carolina. Now there's rumors about Mac Jones going 3 to the 49ers, which is absolutely absurd to me. I don't know, man. Like, okay, so here's the situation. So obviously, we know who's going 1. Lawrence is going 1. Now that the Jets have traded Darnold, Fields absolutely going 2. Set in stone. 1, 2, done. I really, even though they said Jimmy G's their quarterback this year, I find it hard to believe that they're not, they trade up to take like an offensive lineman or a wide receiver at 3. I think that they probably go quarterback 2. Whether it's for some reason Mac Jones, who I think they probably could have gotten at their pick, or Fields or Lance, whatever. I don't know, man. I find it hard to believe that you put all your eggs in that basket and taking a wide receiver at 3 is wild to me, especially trading up to do so. So I think they probably take quarterback. I mean, who's to say Atlanta doesn't need a quarterback? Matt Ryan is kind of on his way out. Maybe not on his way out, but he's getting up there in years. I don't know. I don't think that's that ridiculous. Who says Atlanta doesn't need a quarterback? Like, I guess I'm just saying, I couldn't see a scenario where, like, I don't know. And then like the Broncos. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to just sit here and say I don't know a bunch of times. Like, it's if we're gonna take a quarterback. Sorry, not the Broncos. The what's the team I meant? The Dolphins. If we're gonna take a quarterback, like who's gonna be left? I mean, there's a legitimate chance that we are taking like the fourth best, even possibly the fifth best quarterback available? Cincinnati won't take one. So you have Jacksonville's taking one. The Jets are taking one. The Niners, I think, are taking one. The Falcons, I think, are taking one. That's four. That's the top four picks, all quarterbacks. Done. Right there. You are getting the whatever of the top five QBs, whoever's not taken by the time you get to you. That's who's going to be available. Which is probably Mac or Lance. I don't know, man. That's wild to me. That we can have pick 7 and get the 5th quarterback in the draft. At that point, is it even worth taking a quarterback? That's my question. Is it even worth taking a quarterback at that point? Probably not. Unless you're in love with Trey Lance or Mac Jones or whoever's there. Unless you're going into that night, unless you're going into draft night and you go, if this one sole guy falls to us, we take quarterback here, and that ends up happening, I am not sure it's worth taking a QB there anymore. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, it's going to be insane. So then, like, if you don't take quarterback, I would imagine you're either taking wide receiver or Parsons, right? I would kind of imagine that that's really the only avenue. Other avenues you can go. You need linebackers. I mean, you need like everything, man. Like you got to take your team needs. Our team needs everything. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, like if Devontae Smith is there at 7, it's going to be really hard for me to not take him, assuming 4 quarterbacks are already off the board, right? It's going to be pretty hard for me personally to look at the 5th best quarterback or Devontae Smith and pick the 5th best quarterback. Jamar Chase, this is just my personal opinion of the two. So like, however you rank your guys is how you rank your guys. If it was Jamar, I might be more inclined to just take the quarterback and say, F it. But at the same time, that Parsons safety valve, taking the best, I mean, there's a chance we take the first defender in the draft. We can take the best defensive player in this draft. And like, considering how horrible our defense was, I'm never going to complain about that. That's a nice safety valve for me. I'm not sure it'll ever be my number 1 choice, but it probably will be across the board my second option on every scenario I draw in my head. I don't know. There's a lot that can happen. A lot's going to go on. I just think it's absolutely insane that we are looking at a draft where the first 4 picks, we have the 7th pick and we could get the 5th quarterback available. The ranked 5th quarterback on the board could be our pick at 7 because the first 4 picks could all be QBs. Insanity. Absolute insanity. I went a little long on the Tiger talk. It was just, I feel like that's probably the biggest news in the city currently. And those who know me know I'm a big baseball guy as well. And with the Locked On Red Wings thing, I try to steer you into listening to that. I still always will talk about the Red Wings now, no worries there, but that segment's probably going to be a little shorter from here on out, just because I literally host. I'm not just going to say a bunch of stuff on Locked On Red Wings, then come on here and repeat myself for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So thank you. We're back. I'll see you again Wednesday. We'll have plenty to discuss Wednesday. We'll have 2 more games with the Tigers. including, against the Astros. That'll be super fun. The Pistons still rolling on. We will have the entire trade deadline frenzy to go over with the Red Wings, and then the Lions. Just another day, another mock will probably be out by then, and we'll have some fun there. So thank you so much for listening. Thanks for being patient with me over the last couple of weeks. We are back. I'll see you Wednesday. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. Go Detroit Sports, baby. Peace.